Hey friends, Dan McKnight here, chairman and founder of BringOurTroopsHome.us and the director of the 107club.com. You know, our founding fathers, they crafted our form of government with great care. They knew that liberty was fragile, and so they built a system of checks and balances which they hoped would constrain the perpetual ambitions of the power seekers. But decades ago, a form of empire replaced the humble republic that our forefathers gifted to us. And today, one of the last hallmarks of limited government is being strained and tested every day. It's imperative, and I ask you please, join the 10-7 Club, where you can join us on the front lines of this fight. We need every supporter that we can to help us reset the American experiment and restore the U.S. Constitution. Yesterday, explosive allegations were released that implicate General Mark Milley in an attempt to overturn civilian control of our elected government. Yes, Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the man who has done so much to demonstrate the inadequacy of the military brass, tried to seize the reins of power in the final weeks of Donald Trump's presidency. Bob Woodward and Bob Costa write that, and I quote, Milley was overseeing the mobilization of America's national security state without the knowledge of the American people or the rest of the world, end quote. Let me be clear. General Milley has no command authority over anything. No chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff does. He's a military advisor who serves at the pleasure of the president. But that legal distinction doesn't mean anything to Milley. Woodward and Costa, they describe how after President Trump ordered the troop withdrawal from Afghanistan that, and I quote again, Milley could not forget that Trump had done an end run around his top military advisors, end quote. An elected president of the United States attempting to implement the policies that American people voted for, how dare he proceed without the sabotaging advice of the Pentagon brass? Now, I'd bet everything that I have that Mark Milley spent months telling Joe Biden to reverse direction on the withdrawal and keep our soldiers in Afghanistan forever. But thankfully, we had two presidents who did enough to dismiss Milley's lousy advice. Yet somehow, this may not be the most dangerous accusation made by Woodward and Costa yesterday. According to them, General Milley placed two phone calls to General Li Zuosheng, the highest-ranking officer of the People's Liberation Army of China. Milley assured his counterpart, General Li, you and I have known each other for 5 years. If we're going to attack, I'm going to call you ahead of time. It's not going to be a surprise. Now, our organization does not support armed conflict with China, and we oppose the initiation of war without a formal declaration by Congress as required by the Constitution. But to learn that Mark Milley whispered sweet vows into the ear of the Chinese military, swearing to warn them ahead of time of any American action, it's sickening. BringOurTroopsHome.us agrees with our ally and our friend Senator Rand Paul when he said this. General Milley is not fit to serve, and in the interest of national security, he must be removed immediately. We cannot have a rogue general who subverts civilian control of the military, sabotages policy prerogatives of our elected leaders, or who conspires secretly with foreign governments. President Biden, cast off this informer before he has the opportunity to do more damage than he already has, if that's even possible. Visit us at 107club.com. I hope I can count on your support.